Hello, I am Jen, and it is my great honor to spend a few minutes with you all on video. You have enough reading to do already in class, and that I shared in your discussion thread, so I figured I would just make some videos this week to talk about self-inquiry and kind of where I come to it and how I view it and how I utilize it in my daily life. I'd like to thank Connie, who I love, who is a fire-breathing dragon. And I was birthed from a belly of a dragon, so I resonate with dragons. And so I have great love and affection for Connie, and I'm very grateful that she gives me this opportunity to share inquiry that I love and get to know you all briefly through this medium and share in the sacred container that you all have created in your class together. I had fun kind of looking through your introductions and where you're from and what your inquiries are all about, and where your comfort level with self-inquiry lies. And there's a good range in this class. There's a lot of people, so that you have, some who've never had any experience with inquiry. And then I think I remember seeing, and I'm sorry I can't remember your name, but you said something to the effect that you've done so much inquiry you didn't even know if you wanted to take this class, because you were trying to, temper that reliance on inquiry as a primary mode of knowing. So I have respect with that and definitely resonate with that as well. So a little bit about me. I graduated CIIS in 2019. My dissertation focused on inquiry, essentially it was an autoethnography where I explored my life and the trauma that I had experienced in my life, and how I had been kind of resurrected by a community of trees who really took, mercy on me in a time in my life when I was really lost and broken and in a great deal of despair. And this community of trees reached out to me in my despair and exampled how to be present. Because if you don't know how to be present in the moment, there's really no better teacher than trees. Because they're really grounded and rooted in presence, and they are generous teachers, I have found. So that's what my dissertation was exploring. And what happened in that breakdown that I had with these trees, and how they kind of nursed me back to life and back into awareness of myself, into a functional, generative awareness of myself. What happened was I realized that I was and am fully connected with their lives, with the lives of the trees, and with all of nature and with animals, and reconnecting with what it means to live in my animal body and experience life through my body rather than always through the stories of others and the stories of my own mind. So I had a kind of a radical awakening of what I call and has been called ecological self. And that to me just means the lived, felt experience of our interconnectedness within the great chain of being, within the web of life. And I've come to realize that a lot of the reasons why we humans are so destructive towards our earth home is because we are not in relationship with ourselves on the inside. We have forgotten. We've been disconnected through conditioning from our animal bodies. and from being extensions of nature. And so a lot of my work has been unpacking that in my own life, so that I can work through the trauma that I experienced. So let me back up a little bit. And I just want to kind of go over what I see self-inquiry as. A lot of times, those of us in the West get exposed to self-inquiry in the drag of other cultures, Hinduism, and that can be helpful because there's a lot of helpful pointers there, but it's also cultural appropriation, and I'm always very sensitive to that. And so what has been really important in my work with self-inquiry is understanding it through the lens of my own culture and using it in a way that helps me live in a toxic Western capitalist, patriarchal, imperialist society. So what I see self-inquiry as is a life-saving way of being in this world, in which you are in relationship with yourself in such a way that you have the tools that you need to thrive in a world that has a lot of things moving against you. And the society that we live in really has a lot invested in us not being in relationships with ourselves and not being self-aware. Because there's all kinds of entities, institutions that want to colonize your sense of self and your mind. To sell you things, to have us believe things. So there's no better time than right now, in my opinion, to be in relationship with yourself through inquiry, so that I can reclaim what is mine, my own self, a self that I'm in relationship with on my own terms. What does it mean to be Jen? What does it mean to be in my body? And not just in moments when I'm meditative and peaceful and Zen, but what does it mean to be in my body when I am incredibly anxious, stressed out, paranoid, hypervigilant, sensitive, angry, grieving? What does it mean to be inside of my body through the various challenges that most of us experience? For myself, I live with a lot of chronic pain. And so one of the ways inquiry is life-saving for me is by being in relationship with my body, so that I can not be a jerk on the inside to my body that's already experiencing a lot of pain. Because if I'm not in an active relationship with myself on the inside, I might go, ugh, why can't you move today? I might get frustrated. I might get mad. I might be, resentful towards my body because it's not doing what I need it to do. But that's really the last thing my body needs. What my body needs is a friend on the inside who's going, yeah, we're having a hard day today. What can we do to self-care? What can I do to be loving on the inside to myself so that I am generous to my body, as opposed to just pounding on it from the inside, right? So I think self-inquiry is a giant umbrella for being in relationship with yourself on the inside. It's a love letter that you are writing to yourself on the inside and saying, you know what? I'm going to get to know this being that I am. Because I love myself. Despite what everybody's told me about myself, despite all the trauma, despite everything society tells me about myself, I love myself enough to go on the inside and be the friend I deserve. And that means becoming incredibly intimate with what I'm thinking and what I'm feeling and how I'm behaving. And when I do that, I am then empowered with the tools that I need to live in this society and to live in a body that's broken and to, be a parent of a child with disabilities, in my case. Inquiry gives me the capacity to do that in a way that lifts me up inside and strengthens me. So I hope you'll start to think about it as a love letter to yourself this week. And I can't wait to hear about how you're in relationship with yourself on the inside. And I'll make other videos this week about some practices that I really like. Perhaps I'll bring up some teachers and teachings that really resonate with me. And if you have things you would like to talk about, I'm open to doing a optional Zoom if you would like to do that. Whatever you all want to do this week, I'm yours. So let's have fun with this. Let's use this as an opportunity to love ourselves from the inside out and to remember ourselves as ecological beings that are rooted like the trees and are as fully interdependent and interconnected as those trees. I'm so glad to be here with you all.